You own a piece of this. The jacket hanging in your closet right now, the one with the patch on the chest, the one you paid $350, maybe $700, maybe more, was sold to you on the strength of a name that once meant something specific. It meant summit attempts. It meant expedition pilots in the Arctic. It meant the first American team on Everest. The patch came from somewhere real. Then the companies were acquired. Then they were acquired again. Then the private equity firms came in, and the VF corporations, and the Antisports conglomerates. And the jacket stayed on the rack at the same price, sometimes higher, while the specifications quietly moved in the other direction. Warmth is a number. Waterproofing is a specification. Wind resistance is a rating. Logos are none of those things. By the end of this video, you will know the difference between a jacket priced on what it does and a jacket priced on what it used to mean. Before the brands, the framework. Down insulation is measured in fill power. Fill power tells you how many cubic inches 1 ounce of down occupies. 600 fill is standard. 800 fill is serious. 900 fill is expedition grade. 1000 fill is the top of the technical market. A jacket rated at 625 fill and a jacket rated at 800 fill are not the same product. The price tag does not tell you which one you are holding. The technical specification does. Waterproofing is measured by hydrostatic head, the column of water in millimeters a fabric can withstand before moisture penetrates. 10,000 millimeters is entry level. 20,000 millimeters is serious technical use. Gore-Tex Pro rates at 28,000 millimeters. A jacket marketed as waterproof can mean anything from 5,000 millimeters to 28,000 millimeters. Only the spec sheet tells you the actual number. Warranties tell you how much a company believes in what it built. A lifetime guarantee means the company expects the product to outlast the relationship. A 1-year guarantee means the company expects the product to outlast its return window. These are the 3 instruments: fill power, hydrostatic head rating, warranty length. Every brand on this list will be measured against them. Here is how the outdoor industry deceives you. A brand is founded by a climber, or a hunter, or an expedition outfitter. It builds a reputation over decades of genuine technical use. The products are tested in the field by people who depend on them to perform. The brand name becomes shorthand for that performance. Then a conglomerate acquires it. The conglomerate's obligation is not to the climber. It is to the shareholder. The quickest way to improve margin on an apparel product is to reduce material cost while maintaining retail price. Lower the fill power. Switch to a proprietary waterproof membrane instead of Gore-Tex. Move production to lower-cost facilities. The packaging still says what it always said. The price often goes up. The specifications quietly decline. The consumer cannot see the inner lining of a jacket the way they cannot see the inner lining of a suit. The specification is there if they look for it. Most do not know to look. The brands depend on that gap. That gap is what this video closes. Brand 1. The North Face. Founded in 1968 in San Francisco by Douglas Tompkins and Kenneth Klopp, the North Face was built to outfit serious expedition work. The name came from the coldest, most technically demanding face of a mountain, the North Face, where conditions are harshest and the margin for gear failure is 0. The brand spent its first decades building a reputation around that standard. VF Corporation acquired the North Face in 2000. VF then expanded the brand aggressively into streetwear, mall retail, and youth fashion. The Nuptse jacket, originally a serious insulation layer for high-altitude use, became a fashion item selling for around $330, worn by people who have never seen a mountain. VF Corporation reported a loss of nearly $1 billion in a recent fiscal year. The North Face was spun out with the rest of VF's portfolio under financial strain. The brand that once meant expedition integrity now competes primarily on the strength of the logo patch consumers recognize from their teens. The Summit Series line remains technically credible. Gore-Tex fabrics, serious construction, legitimate alpine use cases. If you are buying from the North Face and you are not buying Summit Series, you are paying expedition adjacent pricing for a product that has no expedition specification behind it. The rest of the line, the jackets retailing at $200 to $400 that dominate their sales floor, are lifestyle products. The fill power is ordinary. The waterproofing ratings are not published prominently because they do not need to be to sell the jacket. The patch is doing the selling. The North Face built a legitimate reputation. VF Corporation built a lifestyle brand on top of it. You are paying for decades of credibility that now applies to roughly 15% of what they sell. Brand 2, Canada Goose. Canada Goose parkas retail for $800 to $2,000 and above. The brand has been worn in legitimate Arctic conditions. It outfitted Canadian expedition workers for decades. The build quality is genuine. The warmth is real. The warranty support is serious. The fill power on Canada Goose's standard parkas is typically 6 and 25. Competing technical brands at one-third of the price routinely use 800 fill. The difference between 625 fill and 800 fill is measurable. 800 fill down occupies significantly more cubic inches per ounce, meaning you need less of it to achieve equivalent warmth at lower weight. What you are paying for at $1, $00 to $1,200 is not the warmest jacket available. It is not the lightest jacket available. It is not the jacket with the most advanced waterproofing membrane. You are paying $500 to $700 above comparable technical performance for a patch on the arm that signals something to people who recognize it. That is not an accusation. That is a transaction. Some consumers understand the transaction they are making. Many do not. If your objective is warmth per dollar, Canada Goose is not the answer. If your objective is signaling something specific to people who can read that signal, Canada Goose delivers exactly what you paid for. A serious expedition parka, from Rab, from Feathered Friends, from Western Mountaineering, starts at $1,300 and above, uses 850 to 900 fill power, and is built for conditions where the jacket failing means the person inside it is in danger. At $2,200, Canada Goose is priced alongside expedition gear but does not deliver expedition specifications. That is the gap. Brand 3, Moncler. Moncler was founded in Monastier de Clermont, France, in 1952. The brand supplied gear to the French expedition on Annapurna 3 and developed down jackets for high-altitude mountain use. That heritage is real and documented. Moncler is now a publicly traded fashion house. The Maya jacket retails for $1,500 to $2,000 and above. A comparable technical jacket from a serious mountaineering brand costs approximately $400. The Moncler jacket is priced at roughly 5 times that number. The fill power and waterproofing specifications do not account for that differential. The logo does. The premium paid for a Moncler over a technical alternative of equivalent or superior specification is approximately $1,000 to $1,600. That premium buys you no additional warmth, no additional waterproofing, no additional durability claim or warranty. It buys you the recognition that comes with the brand. Moncler is at least honest about this. The brand does not present itself as a technical mountaineering company. It presents itself as a fashion house with outdoor heritage. The problem is not Moncler misrepresenting its products. The problem is consumers who believe the heritage is still expressed in the specifications when it is now expressed only in the price. If you want a jacket that performs like the gear that climbed Annapurna, you do not buy a Moncler. You buy a jacket with the specifications the Annapurna climbers needed. Those specifications are available today for $300 to $500. Brand 4, Arc'teryx. Arc'teryx was founded in 1989 in North Vancouver, Canada. The brand was built by climbers and designed specifically for alpine technical use. The construction quality was demonstrably superior to competitors. The welded seams, the harness-compatible pockets, the Gore-Tex Pro laminations. The brand earned its technical reputation through engineering decisions that made measurable differences in the field. Anta Sports, the Chinese sportswear conglomerate, acquired approximately 56% ownership of Amer Sports, Arc'teryx's parent company, in 2019. Amer Sports completed an IPO in 2024 at a valuation of $6.5 billion. Arc'teryx is now a centerpiece asset in a publicly traded conglomerate's portfolio, with shareholder return expectations attached to every product decision. The Beta jacket currently retails for $500 to $700 and above. Arc'teryx still produces technically excellent gear. The Gore-Tex Pro construction is legitimate. The build quality remains high. The Alpine-specific design features are still present and functional. The criticism is not that Arc'teryx has stopped building good jackets. The criticism is that you are now paying a status tax on top of the technical price. Production has moved throughout Asia. The brand has expanded aggressively into streetwear and urban markets. The Arc'teryx logo now signals something to people who have never used technical outdoor gear, which means the price point reflects that signal in addition to the construction. The technical performance is still there. The question is whether the premium above outdoor research, above RAB, above Montbell is paying for technical superiority or for the recognition value the logo now carries in urban environments. In many cases, the specification gap does not justify the price gap. In the Summit Series analogy, the gear is real, but you are paying for the patch as well. Brand 5. Columbia. Columbia Sportswear is an American company, publicly traded, with a long history in outdoor apparel. The brand built a reputation on accessible, functional outdoor gear at price points below the technical specialists. That was the honest positioning, not expedition gear, but solid, affordable outdoor apparel for mainstream consumers. The problem is that Columbia's current pricing often does not reflect that positioning. Products that perform at the mid-tier level are sold at prices that suggest technical credibility. The waterproofing membranes are proprietary rather than independently rated. The fill powers on down products are frequently not published prominently. Columbia on sale represents solid value for what it is. Accessible outdoor gear, competently made, at a price that reflects what it actually delivers. Columbia at full retail asks you to pay on brand familiarity for specifications that frequently sit below what dedicated technical brands deliver at similar prices. If you are buying Columbia at 40% off during an end-of-season sale, the transaction is honest. If you are buying Columbia at full retail because the brand name suggests technical outdoor credibility, you are paying a familiarity premium that is not justified by the specification sheet. Brand 6. Eddie Bauer. Eddie Bauer was founded in 1936 in Seattle. The brand supplied the gear that put the first American expedition team on Everest in 1963. That is a documented technical achievement. The Karakoram Parka, the blizzard-proof parka. These were legitimate expedition tools that saved lives and reached summits. Eddie Bauer has filed for bankruptcy 3 times in roughly 2 decades. The most recent store operator filed for Chapter 11 in early 2026. What remains is an intellectual property asset, the name, the logo, the history, licensed and operated by successive ownership structures that have varying relationships to the original manufacturing philosophy. The Everest Summit, the 1963 expedition. The Eddie Bauer name on gear that performed at altitude when performance meant survival. None of that applies to the products currently on the rack. What applies to the current products is whatever specification the current owner chose to build to, which is not published with the same pride the heritage is displayed. 3 bankruptcies in 2 decades is a business record that tells you something specific. The product itself has not been able to sustain consumer loyalty at its price point independent of the heritage story. When the story is the primary product and the product itself cannot hold a customer, the cycle repeats. Eddie Bauer is an extreme case of heritage monetization with diminishing underlying product to support it. The real gear never went away. While the famous names were being acquired, repositioned, and marketed to consumers who bought the logo, a separate set of companies kept building the same way they always had. No celebrity partnerships. No streetwear collaborations. No lifestyle marketing campaigns. Just fill power numbers published on the hang tag and warranties that outlast the product cycle. These are the 3 brands that still deserve your money. Trusted Brand 1. Patagonia. Patagonia's down sweater retails for $280 to $330. The shell is 100% recycled nylon. The fill power is 800. The intended ownership period per Patagonia's own repair program is 20 years. Patagonia will repair any product they have ever made, free of charge for manufacturing defects. Patagonia is privately held. In 2022, founder Yvon Chouinard transferred ownership of the company to a trust structure dedicated to environmental causes. The company's obligation is now legally tied to a mission rather than a shareholder return requirement. That structural fact is relevant. A company with no obligation to maximize shareholder return has a different relationship to the question of whether to spend more on materials. The ironclad guarantee has been in place for decades. Patagonia will repair, replace, or refund any product that fails due to manufacturing defects. No time limit. The business model depends on products lasting long enough that customers come back for more rather than replacements. The warranty is the business model. At $280 to $330 for an 800 fill jacket with a lifetime repair commitment from a company with no short-term shareholder obligations, Patagonia delivers a verifiable value proposition. The price is not low. The value, measured in cost per year of ownership across a 20-year intended lifespan, frequently is. Trusted brand 2. Montbell. Montbell is a Japanese technical outdoor brand. The products retail for $200 to $300. The fill power on standard products runs 800 to 900. The plasma line reaches 1,000 fill power, the highest commercially available fill power on the market. At $200 to $300 for 800 to 1,000 fill power, Montbell is selling technical specifications that competing brands charge 2 to 3 times more to provide. A luxury position puffer jacket charges 7 times what a Montbell technical jacket costs. The warmth delivered by the $300 Montbell product is measurably greater per dollar than what the $2,000 fashion position jacket provides. Montbell is almost entirely absent from Western marketing channels. There are no celebrity endorsements. There is no lifestyle photography. The brand grows through forum recommendations and word of mouth among people who read fill power numbers before they read brand names. That is the audience that finds Montbell. It is not an accident that the brand costs less. It is a direct consequence of spending zero budget on maintaining a cultural image. If you have never heard of Montbell, you have been spending your outdoor budget in the wrong places. The specifications are published. The prices are honest. The fill power at 1,000 does not exist anywhere else at any price in the same form. Trusted brand 3. Outdoor Research. Outdoor Research was founded in Seattle. The brand builds technical outdoor gear, gloves, shells, insulation layers for serious outdoor use. The products are used by mountain rescue teams, military units operating in cold environments, and expedition climbers who evaluate gear on specification rather than recognition. Outdoor Research offers a lifetime guarantee on manufacturing defects. Every product they make is backed by the expectation that it will outlast the relationship between the customer and the product, not the relationship between the customer and the warranty period. The shell fabrics use Gore-Tex or Gore-Tex Pro where the application warrants it. The hydrostatic head ratings are published. The seam taping is specified. The products are built to be evaluated on technical criteria, which means Outdoor Research wins when consumers actually look at the criteria. The brand does not compete for the same customer who buys based on patch recognition. That is not a failure of marketing. It is a consequence of building products for people who know what to look for. Those customers find Outdoor Research when they stop reading brand names and start reading specification sheets. The calculation that changes everything. A Canada Goose parka at $100 owned for 10 years costs $110 per year. A Patagonia down sweater at $300 owned for 20 years costs $15 per year. A Montbell jacket at $250 owned for 15 years costs $16 per year. A Moncler at $1, $800 owned for 5 years. Because fashion cycles faster than technical products, costs $360 per year. The most expensive jacket per year of use is not the most expensive jacket on the rack. It is the jacket that gets replaced most often, or the jacket whose cost cannot be distributed over a long ownership period because the product is not built to encourage that. The brands that publish lifetime warranties are the brands that expect and need long ownership cycles to sustain their business model. The brands that sell fashion cycle products need you to buy again next season. The warranty length tells you which model the company is operating on. 4 rules, that is all. Rule 1. Read the fill power. It is on the hang tag or the product page. If it is not published prominently, the brand does not want you to compare it. 800 fill is the minimum for a serious insulation layer. 900 and above means the brand is competing on technical specification. Anything below 700 is a lifestyle product priced on brand recognition. Rule 2. Read the membrane. Gore-Tex and Gore-Tex Pro publish their hydrostatic head ratings independently. Proprietary membranes require you to trust the brand's own claims. If a jacket uses a proprietary waterproofing membrane and does not publish the hydrostatic head rating, the waterproofing claim is marketing language, not a specification. Rule 3. Read the warranty. A lifetime guarantee is a business commitment, not a marketing line. It means the company's economics depend on the product lasting long enough that you come back for more product rather than a replacement. A 1-year warranty means the opposite. The warranty length tells you what the company believes about the product it just sold you. Rule 4. Divide the price by the years of expected use. A $300 jacket you own for 20 years costs $15 per year. A faint $500 jacket you own for 5 years costs $300 per year. The number on the tag is not the cost. The cost is the number on the tag divided by the honest ownership expectation. Here is what this comes to. The patch on the chest of a jacket is not insulation. It is not waterproofing. It is not a seam. It has never kept anyone warm. It has never kept anyone dry. What it has done very successfully is convince a large number of people to pay for a signal rather than a specification. The brands that built genuine reputations, the North Face in 1968, Eddie Bauer on Everest in 1963, Moncler on Annapurna in 1952, earned those reputations through products that performed when performance was the only thing that mattered. That history is real. The question is whether the product on the rack today carries any of that performance forward, or whether it carries only the name. Patagonia publishes its materials. Montbell publishes its fill power. Outdoor Research publishes its hydrostatic head ratings and backs everything with a lifetime guarantee. These are companies that compete on the specification sheet because they believe the specification sheet is worth competing on. The smart buyer does not buy the patch. The smart buyer reads the fill. The smart buyer reads the membrane rating. The smart buyer divides the price by the years of expected use. The smart buyer picks the jacket that wins those comparisons, not the one that wins the parking lot. Ignore the logo, read the specs. The jacket that performs in the field does not need the patch to perform, and the patch has never once kept anyone warm. If you own a jacket from any brand on this list, positive or negative, and you have owned it long enough to know whether it delivered what it cost, share the number in the comments. How long have you owned it? What you paid? Whether it is still performing. That data helps every person watching this who is about to make the same decision. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. Every brand on this channel is measured against the same standard. What did they put in the product, and what did they charge you to buy the name on top of it?